Roads that play melodies when you drive over them. Public spaces where the elderly control every detail of their day without asking permission. A care model so radically different that Western visitors often assume it cannot possibly work at scale. Japan did not just rethink elderly care. They built an entirely different system from the ground up, one designed around the assumption that older people are still people with preferences, autonomy, and lives worth living on their own terms. What emerged is so far ahead of what most Western countries call innovation that comparing the two feels almost unfair. Here are 15 retirement community design ideas Japan pioneered that make Western elderly care look like it was built for administrators, not people. Number 1. Shared living spaces that function like actual neighborhoods, not hospital wings. Walk into most Western nursing homes and you will immediately notice the hallway. Long, fluorescent lit, doors on either side leading to private rooms, a nurse station at the center. It is a layout borrowed directly from hospitals because that is what we decided elderly care should look like. Efficient for staff, depressing for residents. Japan pioneered a model called unit care, where instead of one massive facility, the building is divided into small household units. Each unit houses 10 to 15 residents maximum. Each unit has its own kitchen, dining area, and living room. Residents have private bedrooms, but the shared spaces are designed to feel like a home multiple people live in together, not a medical facility multiple patients occupy separately. You walk into one of these units and it does not look like a care facility. There is a couch, a low table, sometimes a small garden visible through sliding doors. The kitchen is not behind a locked staff-only door, it is right there, open, part of the living space. Residents can see meals being prepared, some participate if they want to. The entire layout assumes you live here, not that you are stored here. The staff assigned to each unit stay with that unit. You are not dealing with rotating shifts of strangers. You see the same 3 or 4 caregivers daily. They learn your routines, your preferences, what bothers you, what you find funny. The relationship is not transactional, it is relational. That changes everything about how care feels. Meanwhile, in most Western facilities, you get a private room if you are lucky and can afford it, and a shared hallway with 40 other people you have nothing in common with except age and medical need. The design assumes isolation is fine as long as it is convenient for staffing schedules. Japan looked at that model and said no, people do not thrive in isolation, they do not thrive in hospitals, they thrive in homes, so they built homes. Number 2, kitchens residents can actually use, not just look at. In those shared household units, the kitchens are fully functional, not decorative, not locked. Residents who want to cook can cook. Not every meal, not necessarily full meals, but the option is there. Want to make tea the way you have made it for 60 years? The kettle is accessible. Want to peel vegetables for dinner prep? Sit at the counter. Someone will hand you a peeler and a bowl. This sounds small until you realize what it replaces. In most Western facilities, food comes from a central industrial kitchen. It arrives on trays, pre-portioned, temperature-controlled for safety. Residents have zero interaction with the preparation. They do not see it, they do not smell it cooking, they certainly do not participate. The message is clear: you are too fragile, too risky, too much of a liability to be trusted near a stove. Japanese unit care flips this. The design assumes competence, not incapacity. If you can peel a carrot safely, you can peel a carrot. If you cannot, fine, you watch or you do something else. But the kitchen is not treated like a hazardous zone that must be kept away from residents for their own protection. The layout makes this possible. The kitchen opens directly into the living and dining area. There is no separation, no barrier. Caregivers are cooking in the same space where residents are sitting, talking, watching. It is a shared activity, not a behind-the-scenes operation. The smells, the sounds, the visual rhythm of chopping and stirring, all of that is part of daily life. One facility designer explained it simply: kitchens are the heart of a home. If you remove the kitchen from the residents' daily experience, you remove the feeling of home. Japan refused to do that. Western facilities did it by default and never questioned it. Number 3, outdoor spaces designed for actual use, not just viewing. Japanese elderly care facilities treat outdoor access as non-negotiable. Not a fenced courtyard you can see through a window, not a small patio with 2 benches. Genuine outdoor space that residents can access independently, use throughout the day, and interact with. Many facilities include engawa, a traditional Japanese architectural feature. It is a wooden veranda that runs along the outside of the building, covered by the roof's eave. You can sit there and be outside without being fully exposed to weather. You can walk along it. You can set up a chair and just exist there. It is a transitional space, neither fully inside nor fully outside, and that flexibility makes it usable far more often than a garden that requires you to fully commit to going outside. The gardens themselves are designed for interaction, not decoration. Raised garden beds so residents in wheelchairs can reach. Vegetable patches residents can tend. Pathways wide and smooth enough for walkers. Seating scattered throughout, not just at the edges. The assumption is that you will spend time here, not that you will glance at it through a window and feel vaguely soothed by the presence of greenery. Some facilities go further. They include small outdoor work areas where residents can do light tasks. Potting plants, hanging laundry, sweeping leaves, tasks that in a Western facility would be handled entirely by staff because it is more efficient. In Japan, the inefficiency is the point. The task gives you a reason to be outside. It gives you something to do with your hands. It gives you a sense of contribution. Western facilities treat outdoor space as an amenity, something nice to have if the budget allows. Japan treats it as infrastructure, something necessary for daily life. The difference is obvious the moment you see how much time residents actually spend outside in one model versus the other. Number 4, furniture scaled to Japanese physical norms, which accidentally solved a problem Western care has not. Most Japanese elderly grew up sitting on the floor, eating at low tables, sleeping on futons. Western-style chairs and beds were not part of their daily life until relatively recently, and for many, the adjustment never felt natural. Japanese care facilities did not try to force that adjustment, they designed around it. Many facilities offer a mix: Western-style beds and chairs for residents who prefer them, but also rooms with tatami mat floors, low tables, and futon bedding. Dining areas might have both standard height tables with chairs and low tables where you sit on floor cushions. You pick what your body is used to. This is not nostalgia, it is ergonomics. If you spent 70 years sitting and standing in a particular way, your joints and muscles adapted, forcing you to adopt a completely different posture in your 80s because the furniture only comes in one height is not promoting mobility, it is creating unnecessary strain. Western facilities do not think about this because Western furniture norms are treated as universal. A chair is a chair, a bed is a bed, but a chair that requires you to lift your legs higher than your hips have comfortably lifted in decades is not a neutral choice. It is a barrier. Japan recognized that the built environment should adapt to the person, not the other way around. So they built flexibility into the furniture itself. The result is residents who move more comfortably, sit more often, and participate more fully because the physical environment is not constantly working against their body's learned patterns. It is a subtle thing, most visitors do not even notice it, but residents feel it immediately. One described it as the difference between living in your own home and living in someone else's idea of what a home should be. Number 5, bathing rooms designed as social spaces, not medical procedures. In Japan, bathing is not just hygiene. It is a daily ritual, a source of comfort, a social activity. Japanese elderly care took that seriously. Instead of individual showers in private rooms or clinical-assisted bathing stations, many facilities built communal bathing areas modeled after traditional Sento public baths. These are not small, we are talking large soaking tubs, sometimes multiple tubs, wooden finishes, high ceilings, windows overlooking gardens. The tubs are deeper than Western bathtubs, designed for sitting upright with water up to your shoulders. The room is warm, humid, calming. You are not rushed. This is not a 5-minute safety checklist. This is a part of your day you are meant to enjoy. Residents who need assistance get it, but the assistance is incorporated into the ritual, not treated as the entire point. A caregiver might help you undress, help you wash before entering the tub, keep an eye on you while you soak. But you are still soaking. You are still experiencing the bath as a bath, not as a supervised cleaning procedure. Some facilities schedule bathing in small groups. 2 or 3 residents who get along will bathe at the same time, talking while they soak. It is social, it is pleasant, it is something to look forward to. Western facilities treat bathing as a hygiene task and a liability risk. You get showered twice a week on a schedule. If you need help, it happens in a clinical bathroom with grab bars and a shower chair and a staff member whose goal is to get you clean as quickly and safely as possible. No one is thinking about whether you enjoyed it. Japan asked a different question. What if bathing could still be one of the best parts of your day? The design follows from that question. Western facilities never asked it. Number 6. Daily schedules controlled by residents, not printed on a master timetable. In the unit care model, there is no facility-wide schedule. Breakfast is not at 7, dinner is not at 5, there is no morning activity session everyone is expected to attend. The rhythm of the day is determined by the people living in that household unit, not by administrative convenience. If everyone in your unit prefers to eat breakfast at 8:30, breakfast happens at 8:30. If someone wants to sleep until 10, they sleep until 10 and they eat when they wake up. The kitchen is right there. Food is available. There is no rule that says meals occur at centrally mandated times because that is easier for a centralized kitchen operation. Activities work the same way. If your unit wants to spend the afternoon folding laundry and listening to old radio dramas, that is what happens. If another unit wants to take a walk, they take a walk. There is no activity coordinator with a schedule board telling you it is art therapy time. This requires a completely different staffing model. Caregivers cannot rotate through multiple units on strict schedules if every unit operates independently, so they do not rotate, they stay with their unit. Their schedule flexes to match the unit's rhythm, not the other way around. Western facilities cannot do this because the entire operational model is built around standardization. Meals at fixed times because the kitchen serves 300 people. Activities at fixed times because one activity coordinator serves the whole building. Schedules printed weekly because deviation creates logistical problems. Japan built the logistical model around variability from the start. The units are small enough that flexibility is possible. The staffing is consistent enough that caregivers know what each resident needs without checking a chart. The result is that your day belongs to you again, not completely. You still need care, but the care adapts to your preferences, not the other way around. Number 7. Design that assumes you will have guests, not just visitors during visiting hours. Japanese elderly care facilities are built with the assumption that your family and friends will be part of your daily life. Not once a week during designated hours, daily, the architecture reflects this. The household units have space for guests, not a separate visiting room down the hall, space within the unit itself, extra seating in the living area, a dining table large enough that family can join for a meal. Some facilities have guest bedrooms so family members can stay overnight. The kitchens make this possible in ways Western designs do not. If your daughter visits at lunch, she is not sitting in your room watching you eat a tray meal. She is sitting at the table in the shared dining area. Maybe she brought food. Maybe she is eating what the unit prepared. Either way, it feels like having a meal together, not visiting someone in an institution. The outdoor spaces add to this. You can take a guest outside, sit in the garden, have tea on the Engawa. You are not confined to your bedroom or a generic visiting lounge. You have options. The facility is designed to accommodate normal social activity, not to restrict it to controlled times and locations. Western facilities have visiting hours. They have policies about where visitors can and cannot go. They have lobbies and designated family rooms because the actual living areas are not set up for guests. The message, intentional or not, is that this is a medical facility where you are a patient, and visitors are a disruption to operations that must be managed. Japan designed the opposite. You live here. People who care about you will come see you. The building should make that easy and pleasant, not complicated and awkward, so they made it easy. Number 8. Spaces designed to look and feel like the era residents actually remember. Some Japanese facilities go a step further. They design entire sections to resemble the Japan residents grew up in. We are talking Showa-era streetscapes, storefronts that look like mid-century shops, interiors with design elements from the 1950s and 60s, not as a museum, as the actual living environment. This is not about nostalgia for its own sake. It is about cognitive accessibility. For residents with dementia, familiar environments reduce confusion and agitation. A hallway that looks like a hospital hallway means nothing to someone whose memory is pulling them back 60 years. A hallway that looks like a shopping street they visited every week in their 30s triggers recognition. That recognition is calming. One facility built a small interior streetscape complete with a fake candy shop, a post box, a bench under a fabric awning. Residents can walk through it, sit on the bench, look at the shop displays. It is not functional, you cannot buy anything, but it feels real enough that residents interact with it as if it were. They comment on the products in the window, they sit and watch people go by, their behavior settles. Western dementia care uses some environmental design, but it is usually safety-focused. Locked doors disguised as bookshelves. Bathrooms painted bright colors so they are easier to locate. The goal is management, not comfort. Japan flipped that. They built environments where confused residents would feel less confused, not just environments where confused residents cannot wander into danger. The design work is extensive. Historically accurate signage, period-appropriate color palettes, furniture styles that match the era, lighting that mimics the softer incandescent bulbs of the time, not modern fluorescents. Every detail is considered because every detail contributes to whether the space feels familiar or alien. It works. Staff report lower anxiety, less aggression, more voluntary participation in activities. Residents spend more time out of their rooms because the shared spaces feel safe and recognizable. Western facilities are starting to experiment with similar designs, but Japan has been doing this for over a decade. Number 9. Integration with the surrounding community, not isolation from it. Many Japanese elderly care facilities are not separate compounds on the edge of town. They are embedded in residential neighborhoods. The building might house a daycare on the ground floor, or a community center, or a cafe open to the public. The elderly residents live upstairs or in a connected wing, but the facility itself is not sealed off. This creates daily intergenerational contact. Kids from the daycare visit the elderly residents. They sing together, they do crafts, the residents help with simple tasks. The children see old age as a normal part of life, not something hidden away. The residents get to interact with young people, which every study shows improves mood and cognitive function. The public cafe or community space means non-residents come and go. Neighbors stop by. The facility feels like part of the neighborhood because it literally is. Residents are not cut off from the rhythms of normal community life. They see people coming and going. They hear the ambient noise of a functioning neighborhood. They are still part of the world. Western facilities are almost always isolated, built on large plots away from residential areas. No reason for the public to enter. No connection to the surrounding community. Residents are removed from the neighborhood they lived in and placed in an age-segregated environment where everyone is old, everyone needs care, and no one else ever visits unless they have a specific reason. Japan rejected that model intentionally. They recognized that isolation accelerates decline, so they built connection into the architecture itself. The facility is not a destination. It is part of the fabric of daily community life. That changes how residents experience aging. They are not hidden, they are still here. Number 10. Employment of elderly staff to work alongside younger caregivers. Some Japanese facilities employ older workers, including people in their 60s and 70s, to work as part of the care team, not in physically demanding roles but in support tasks, meal prep assistance, activity coordination, companionship. The presence of older staff changes the entire dynamic. Residents relate differently to a caregiver who is 70 than to one who is 25. The 70-year-old is a peer. They remember the same cultural touchstones. They lived through the same historical events. Conversations happen more naturally. There is less of a power imbalance. The care relationship feels less like young person managing old person and more like people of similar generations helping each other. The older staff also model active aging. They are proof that being older does not mean being useless. They are working, they are contributing, they are valued. Residents see that and it shifts their self-perception. If someone your age is still working, maybe you are not as finished as the institutional setting implies. Western facilities do not do this. Caregiving is seen as physically demanding work suitable for younger, stronger workers. Older applicants are not considered. The result is a staff demographic that is wildly different from the resident demographic. The generational gap is built into the hearing model. Japan saw that gap and bridged it deliberately. They made space for older workers, adjusted roles to match physical capabilities, and created a care environment where age diversity is an asset, not a liability. Number 11. Private rooms that do not feel like hospital rooms. Even the private bedrooms in Japanese elderly care facilities are designed to feel residential. Sliding doors, not swinging institutional doors, wood finishes, not vinyl flooring, windows that actually open, space for personal furniture. Many facilities encourage residents to bring furniture from home, your own dresser, your own desk, your own bedding if you prefer. The room is not pre-furnished with institutional grade equivalents. It is a space you personalize. The lighting is adjustable, not a single overhead fluorescent, multiple sources, a bedside lamp, a floor lamp, maybe a small pendant light. You control the brightness and warmth. The room can feel how you want it to feel. Storage is built in but not obtrusive. Closets with sliding doors, drawers integrated into walls. The goal is to give you enough space for your belongings without the room feeling like a storage unit. Western facilities either give you a tiny closet or a giant institutional wardrobe that dominates the room. Japan threaded the needle. The result is rooms that feel like bedrooms, not like hospital rooms with a bed in them. Residents spend more time in their rooms by choice, not because they have nowhere else to go. The room is a retreat, not a cell. Number 12, technology that enhances autonomy instead of replacing it. Japanese facilities use assistive technology extensively, but the goal is always to let residents do more themselves, not to do things for them. Sensor mats that alert staff if someone at high fall risk gets out of bed, so staff can check in, but the person is not physically restrained. Automated medication dispensers that residents can operate themselves if cognitively able. Adjustable furniture that rises or lowers so residents can stand without help. The philosophy is independence with a safety net, not dependence for the sake of risk elimination. Western facilities tend toward the latter. If there is any fall risk, you are not allowed to walk unassisted. If there is any medication management risk, staff controls all medication. The technology, when it exists, is surveillance-focused. Cameras, alarms, monitoring systems, all designed to catch problems, not to prevent dependence. Japan invested in tech that preserves agency. Lift assists that help you stand but require you to participate in the movement. Smart bathroom fixtures that make toileting easier without requiring staff assistance. Communication tablets that let you call for help but also let you video call family whenever you want. It is a fundamentally different design philosophy. One assumes the goal is safety above all, the other assumes the goal is the most independence safely possible. The technology reflects that difference. Number 13, flexible dining spaces where you choose where and with whom you eat. In the household unit model, meals are not assigned seating. You sit where you want, with whom you want. Some residents eat in the shared dining area, some prefer to eat in their rooms, some eat at different times depending on the day. The flexibility is built into the design. The dining area itself does not look like a cafeteria. It looks like a home dining room. One large table or several small tables. Real dishes, not compartmentalized trays. Serving dishes placed on the table so people can serve themselves if able. The meal feels like a shared experience, not like fuel delivery. Western facilities have dining halls. Assigned seats in many cases because it is easier for staff to track who ate what. Meals served on trays, pre-portioned. You eat when the meal period is scheduled. You sit where you are told. It is efficient. It is also completely impersonal. Japan built the opposite. Meals are social events. You have choices. You have control. The design supports that. The household kitchen makes it possible. The result is that people actually look forward to meals instead of tolerating them. Number 14, staff trained in life history, not just medical history. Japanese caregivers in these facilities are trained to learn each resident's life story, not just medical needs, where they grew up, what work they did, what hobbies they had, what music they loved. This information is not a footnote in a chart, it is central to how care is delivered. If you know someone was a carpenter, you offer woodworking activities. If you know they loved gardening, you involve them in the garden. If you know they hate a particular food, you never serve it. The care is personalized not just medically but personally. Western training focuses almost entirely on medical and safety protocols. How to transfer a patient, how to recognize infection, how to document vital signs. The person's life before they became a resident is treated as irrelevant to care delivery. Japan recognized that knowing the person is part of delivering good care. Caregivers spend time talking to residents and families specifically to gather this history. Some facilities create life books, physical or digital records of each resident's story. Staff review them regularly. New staff read them as part of onboarding. The goal is that everyone who interacts with you knows who you are, not just what you need. It changes everything. A resident who is agitated is not just agitated. They are a former teacher who feels patronized when spoken to like a child. A resident who refuses to eat is not just refusing. They grew up in a region where meals had different flavors and textures than what is being served. Knowing the life history gives caregivers the context to respond appropriately. Number 15. Design elements that are beautiful for no reason other than beauty matters. Japanese elderly care facilities include design details that serve no functional purpose: tokonoma alcoves with seasonal flower arrangements, wooden latticework screens, carefully chosen artwork, ceramic roof tiles. These elements do not improve safety, they do not reduce costs, they are there because the designers believed the environment should be beautiful. Western facilities are almost always utilitarian. Vinyl, drywall, fluorescent lights, industrial carpet, everything chosen for durability and cost. Beauty is not a consideration. The assumption is that function is enough. Japan rejected that assumption. They built facilities where aesthetic detail is everywhere. The handrails are wood, not metal. The light fixtures are designed objects, not builder-grade basics. The gardens are maintained not just for safety but for seasonal beauty: cherry blossoms in spring, colored leaves in autumn. This is not extravagance, it is philosophy. The environment you live in affects how you feel. A beautiful space communicates that you are worth the effort of beauty. An ugly space communicates that you are being stored, not cared for. Residents notice, family members notice, staff notice. Everyone who enters these spaces feels the difference. It is not one big thing, it is 100 small things. Collectively, they create an environment that feels like a place worth living, not just a place to wait. If you want to see more ways other cultures are designing solutions the rest of the world has not caught up to yet, hit subscribe. The next video covers 15 urban planning ideas that make Western cities look like they were designed by people who never actually walk anywhere. You will find it on your screen now.